Madam President, distinguished members of the Council, Ambassador Ilal, Chair of the Peace Building Commission and the Central African Republic Configuration, Ambassador Zeswe, Permanent Representative of the Central African Republic. Madam President, I would like to congratulate Colombia on assuming the presidency of the Security Council for the month of June. I'm honored to present the latest report of the Secretary General on the situation in the Central African Republic and to provide an update on recent political and security developments and the mission reconfiguration of its footprint. Madam President, distinguished members of the Council, this briefing comes 4 years after my first briefing to this Council as Special Representative of the Secretary General and head of MINUSCA in June 2022. It is with a sense of deep gratitude that I address this Council today for its sustained support to the mission and to our host country, the Central African Republic. I'm pleased to report that 4 years down the road, the Central African Republic has made remarkable and tangible progress towards lasting peace and security with the instrumental support of MINUSCA. This progress would not have been possible without a close and constant cooperation built on trust and respect between the mission and our host country. My gratitude goes to the people and the government of the Central African Republic for the exceptional cooperation extended to myself and the mission. The progress made with the implementation of the political and peace processes, the effective extension of state authority and presence across the Central African Republic territory, the protection of civilians, the preparation and conduct of historic couple elections in December 2025 is all the result of sustained efforts by the Central African authorities and people with the multidimensional support of MINUSCA. These gains must now be preserved and consolidated. Madam President, the Central African Republic has reached another decisive milestone towards the full completion of the 2025-2026 electoral cycle. On 26 April 2026, the second round of legislative, regional, and municipal elections, as well as by-elections, were successfully conducted, including in the few areas where voting could not take place in December 2025. In a country where elections have too often been associated with tensions and cycles of violence, this is a clear indication of institutional stability. The inauguration of President Faustin Archange Touadéra on 30th of March, the installation of the 8th legislature of the National Assembly on 4th of May, and the formation of the first government of the Seventh Republic on 21st of May, further underscore this progress. The local elections contributed to improving inclusive governance with an increase to 45% of women elected municipal councillors, including the newly elected mayor of Bangui, the capital city. Madam President, distinguished members of the Council, while the security situation has generally improved across the country over the years, it remains fragile, mainly in several border areas. In the Northeast, the impact of the conflict in Sudan is of particular concern, with renewed armed activity along the border, including cross-border incursions targeting civilians, particularly in the Vakaga Prefecture. In the southeast, the attacks and abductions by the AAKG militia continue to be a source of insecurity in the Haut-Mbomou and Mbomou Prefectures. MINUSCA continues to work closely with the government to protect civilians and further consolidate the extension of state authority. However, the sustainability of security gains requires significant investment in the national security sector and institutions, including for the sustainment of troops deployed in operations in remote areas, construction and maintenance of national defense and security bases, training of troops and officers, operational, logistical, and mobility capabilities, reinforcement of defense and security governance and accountability mechanisms, among other security sector priorities. There is a need for a comprehensive and detailed plan to address critical gaps in the capabilities of the security sector. A plan based on strong national ownership with the support of international partners. This is critical to ensuring that the mandated gradual transfer of MINUSCA security tasks to national defense and security forces will not risk strategic reversal of security achievements. Madam President, distinguished members of the Council, MINUSCA has redoubled efforts to consolidate and rationalize its operational footprint in line with our political strategy and updated concepts of operation of MINUSCA's force and police. Between January and June 2026, the mission has completed the closure of 21 bases, including 7 permanent operating bases and 14 temporary operating bases located in stabilized areas, allowing for a more agile and mobile posture to focus on most fragile areas. MINUSCA also closed 3 field offices, as well as one of our 3-man compounds in Bangui, generating both savings and integration gains between uniform and civilian components. In addition, MINUSCA handed over a number of static security positions to national counterparts in Bangui. The success of this reconfiguration and MINUSCA's more mobile concept of operation hinges on enablers, particularly aviation capacity, given limited infrastructure and an 8-month rainy season in the Central Africa. On 10th of June, an official handover ceremony of 7 MINUSCA bases to the Central African government, co-led by the Prime Minister and myself, was organized in Baiki, in the Lobai Prefecture. This marked a new milestone in the consolidation of gains and gradual transfer of tasks and responsibilities to national authorities in support of restoration of state authority and strengthening of national capabilities. The process of identification of tasks to be gradually handed over to the government is being done in close coordination between the mission and the government, under the oversight of an inter-ministerial committee chaired by the Prime Minister. This process is conducted through joint planning by the government and the mission to ensure both national ownership and that the process is informed by the realities on the ground. Madam President, I would like to conclude by expressing my deep gratitude to the civilian and uniformed personnel of MINUSCA for their dedication, commitment, resilience during an extraordinarily demanding and challenging year for the mission. I thank troop and police contributing countries for their unwavering commitment to peace, security, and stability in the Central African Republic. I also thank the UN country team for their essential contribution to our shared stabilization mission in the Central African Republic. I thank you for your kind attention.